Loving Father, as we gather for our council meeting tonight, we thank you for the privilege of serving people in this borough and recognise the responsibilities that we shoulder. Father, we pray that you will help us to make good decisions as we move through the agenda this evening. You will help us to listen to each other and come to decisions that serve this community to the best of our ability. Loving Father, thank you for this privilege tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
Right, good evening ladies and gentlemen again. Item 1 is, do any members have any personal or prejudicial interest to declare on our meeting tonight? Thank you. Right, the next item is to confirmation of the minutes. I will propose from the chair that minutes of the previous meeting held on the 4th of July will be confirmed as a direct record. Will all those who agree that they are a true record show your approval by raising your hands? Any to the contrary? Any abstentions? Right, then the minutes are confirmed. Can I... Right, since we last met, there has been many, I have attended many and various events throughout the borough, and as anybody who has the privilege of being there or has been there realises what a privilege it is to see how vast and wide an area that we have. It is, I'm not going to pick out any, but I would say thank you to all those Girl Guides who organised the coffee morning and all the councillors who attended. The next meeting is for Home Start on the 29th of November. It is a Tuesday and it's between 12 and noon at the Town Hall. 10 and noon, sorry. Yes, it would actually. One thing I do have to do is to congratulate Freckleson, who has won Best Small Town in Britain in Blue, and also Ellswick and Lytham and any other villages who have won awards in in Best Kept Villages competitions. In all, I believe the area has achieved 7 gold medals. Are there any communication to report from your office?
There's none this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Item 5, there are no members from the council. There are no questions from members of the council this evening. Right. Right. Item 6. There is one question from a member of the public this evening. Mr. Curtis, if you would care to go to the microphone, you have 2 minutes to ask your question.
I don't think it'll take that long. Madam Mayor, could the council look to allowing high-speed cable stroke fibre optic internet into the St Anne's-on-Sea area?
Councillor Zackley, would you care to respond?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. I should be reading this very carefully because it doesn't mean a lot to me, but this is the prepared answer which will hopefully be helpful to you. Fylde Council has supported the Lancashire Superfast Broadband Initiative since it was first introduced several years ago. The County Council is the lead authority, working directly with private sector providers to facilitate the provision of superfast fibre optic broadband to as many businesses and residential properties as possible. Fylde Council has made a commitment to support this programme and would always allow high-speed cable and fibre optic to any area of the borough that it can reach. There are no policies or barriers in place from a planning perspective to prevent this. The challenge to get superfast broadband to every area of the borough is economic viability, and whilst the County Council and partners like Fylde have helped to secure grant funding where possible, particularly towards rural accessibility, there are still some areas that remain economically unviable. However, Mr. Curtis will be delighted to know that St Anne's is an economically viable area and commercial operators do not require any incentive to provide superfast optic fibre in this area, as it is already available or the existing network is being upgraded by commercial operators to fibre optic. Details can be found on the Superfast Lancashire website. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Zackley. Mr. Curtis, do you have a supplementary question arising from the answer you have received?
No, I think I'm pleased to hear that Lancashire is looking into getting fibre optic put into St Anne's, and I think the answer was more than accommodating. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Right, agenda item 7. The corporate plan 2013-16, and the closure report is on page 5 of your agenda. I would like to invite Councillor Zackley to introduce this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, colleagues. The closure report covers the corporate plan that was approved in July 2013 for the ensuing 3 years and was reviewed annually to ensure the actions were in line with targets and outcomes. The plan can be seen at Appendix 1 at the end of the report. The pages of the final review, I'm pleased to see, show all actions as complete. Having only recently formulated our plan for 2016-20, I think we are fully familiar with its purposes, considerations and intentions, so I will cut to the chase and move the recommendations that the Council notes the progress reported against the 2013-2016 corporate plan and confirms the closure of the plan, and I have a second instant.
Has anybody any questions on this item or comments? In that case then, we will take the vote. All those in favour? Any to the contrary? The item is clearly carried. Thank you. The next item is on the agenda is the Parliamentary 2018 Boundary Review. I'd like to invite Councillor Buckley to introduce this item.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The issue of the Parliamentary Boundary Review was reported to the Finance and Democracy Committee on the 26th of September as an information item and was referred to Council for a position to be adopted. The reason for the review, as members will be aware, is to reduce the number of constituencies across England and make them more equal in size of electorate. And in the North West, that means that we are to reduce the number of constituencies from 75 to 68. And by law, every constituency proposed must contain between 71,031 and 78,507 electors. The criteria is that largely local government wards are used as the building blocks for proposed constituencies, and we want to try to retain existing constituencies where possible and try and have regard to geographic factors. Mr. Mayor, we are now in stage 2 of a 5-stage process. Began in February with the drawing of the proposals. The proposals are now out for consultation, and we are encouraged to respond. The public is encouraged to respond in writing, and there are also public meetings this month across the region. Final stages of the consultation will not be until a report is prepared and put before government in September 2018. On the Fylde coast, the Boundary Commission notes that the electorates of both Blackpool constituencies were very low and that both needed additional wards to increase their electorates to within the electoral quota. And the proposal is, from the Boundary Commission, that the Blackpool North constituency extends northwards to the mouth of the estuary of the River Lune and includes the towns of Fleetwood and Thornton. And in the northeast of the proposed constituency, the River Wyre would form a physical boundary between it and the proposed Fylde constituency. It's further proposed that Blackpool South be extended both northwards and southwards, with the inclusion of St Leonard's and Kilnhouse wards around Blackpool Airport. And I'm quoting from the report that says, "The Commission considered that this allowed the town of Lytham St Anne's to remain largely undivided in our reconfigured Fylde constituency, which, in order to increase its electorate to achieve the electoral quota, also includes the town of Poulton-le-Fylde." But, Mr Mayor, the problem with this proposal is that it would mean losing a third of the town of St Anne's-on-the-Sea, to give it a correct title, to Blackpool South. We are not a town, I would say, we are not a town of Lytham St Anne's. They are very distinct communities, and St Anne's has a town council, and we believe that the town council boundaries should remain within the one constituency. I represent one of the wards affected, St Leonard's ward, and I have yet to meet a resident of the ward, who is in favour of the current proposal. We are encouraged, when submitting alternative proposals, to do so constructively and ensure that such proposals will offset the loss or gain of electors in surrounding areas, which is why the proposal put forward on the tables in front of you is more than just a simple objection. It's not just saying we object, we're putting forward an alternative, because otherwise it would carry little weight. The proposal set out on the table in front of you has the backing of Fylde Conservatives, their councillors and our group. It brings the two wards of St Leonard's and Kilnhouse back into St Anne's, and it compensates by moving two Poulton wards out. So the proposal, Mr Mayor, is set out that whilst we do agree with the tenet of the Boundary Commission's proposals to reduce the number of MPs and equal the size of the electorate of the constituencies, the Council resolves to reject this particular proposal and to direct the Chief Executive to write on behalf of the Council, setting out the Council's position, and I would ask that the Chief Executive note the points being made for that position, and to submit proposals that reinstate Kilnhouse House and St Leonard's Ward, and reassign the Polton Ward of Brecon Colton from Fylde to Blackpool North, and Warbeck Ward from Blackpool North to Blackpool South, which will ensure the numbers in each constituency remain within the prescribed limits. That is the proposal set out, and I do have a second.
May I have a seconder, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm standing to second this proposal by Councillor Mrs Buckley. As a representative of one of the wards directly affected by this, we understand why the Boundary Commission are doing that. We understand and support the broad principle. But the Boundary Commission also has to take into account and consideration local views. We know best. We know the best of this, and I think that the proposals that are put in front of you tonight are a very good solution as to way forward, as to what is the best final outcome. The suggestions, I won't go through them again because I think obviously they've been well articulated. The suggestions put forward are the best for all, as they're going to retain as far as possible resident traditional allegiances. And again, in Kilnhouse, I've not spoken to any single person who said that they're quite happy about going into Blackpool South. They want to remain in Fylde whilst achieving, so it actually keeps the traditional residents' traditional allegiances whilst achieving the aim of equalising constituency electorates to acceptable variances. And I would ask that members support this. Thank you.
Councillor Mulholland.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Well, the previous speakers have said they understand why the Boundary Commission is doing this. Well, I don't, unless it's for political advantage, which I think is often the case with these things. But having said that, I fully support both previous speakers. I fully support the amendment. I think we absolutely must make representations, and I think taking out St Leonard's and Kilnhouse is utterly ludicrous. If that balances the numbers, what's being proposed, I'm happy with that. But I think we should make it a very strong representation, and we're not happy with that. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. Councillor Harvey.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to agree with what, some of what Councillor Mulholland has just said. Certainly in relation to supporting this proposal. Of course, we could all have our own views as to the reasons behind the Boundary Commission review, and that's where we might part ways. But there is going to be the review. The review is happening, and what we have to do is consider the proposal filed. And I'd just like to align myself with the proposal put forward by Councillor Buckley. It's absolutely absurd to consider splitting St Anne's as is suggested by the Boundary Commission. Their avowed intention, when you go on their website and have a look at what they have to say about this, is that one of their fundamental principles is to try and keep towns together wherever possible. And their proposal clearly doesn't do that. And so I would very strongly support the motion that's been proposed by Councillor Buckley, and I think it is deserving of the full support of this council to make the strongest possible representations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Are there any other speakers? Oh, Councillor Redcliffe.
Yes, very quickly, I'd like to support the proposal as forwarded by Councillor Buckley. It seems to me that we agree with the intention of the boundary review in terms of balancing electorates up, but it mustn't be at the cost of actually cutting up socially cohesive communities, and we must respect the integrity of existing communities before we start slicing them up. So I would like to approve and very much support the proposal that's been put forward.
Thank you, Councillor Redcliffe. Any more speakers? Oh, Councillor Green.
figures to the proposal that's been put forward. I know Councillor Mulholland did say if the figures are reached, I've scribbled them down in front of me. The Boundary Commission proposal would give Fylde constituency 72,103 electorate. The proposal put forward this evening would give Fylde 72,193 electorate. So there's only 90 difference in the proposal that's been put forward today. Also, under the Commission's plans, of the 72,000, only 57,500 of the electorate would be unmoved, still be in the original constituency. Under the proposal that's put forward this evening, we go up to 64,000 of the electorate unmoved, so that makes a massive difference to the amount of people that will be staying in the constituency that they have grown used to. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Green. Any more speakers? No, then I will. Councillor Buckley, would you like to sum up? Thank you. Then we will now take the vote. All those in favour of the proposal as set out on the... I think that's carried. Thank you very much. The next item is agenda item number 9. It's approval for the S106 funded scheme, Church Road, Methodist Church Road in St Anne's. And I'd like Councillor Redcliffe to introduce this item.
Thank you very much. Just to remind members that what we're considering tonight is a recommendation to approve a fully funded addition to the capital programme in the sum of £550,000. Affordable housing scheme at Church Road Methodist Church, and also to authorise the expenditure of the sum of £550,000 to Great Places Housing Association. You have in front of you in the report details of that scheme. However, I would like to make the following points in support. First of all, let's remember that this is a scheme that's already been agreed by the Environment, Health and Housing Committee. This is a fully funded addition to the capital programme to deliver the scheme from Section 106 developer contributions held by the Council for the specific purpose of providing affordable housing in Lytham St Anne's. The Housing Association has been identified, and indeed the brownfield land site is available. 54% of the funding comes from Great Places, which they will borrow, and our contribution through the fund will be 46% of a £1.185 million total cost project. This particular project will improve community facilities, which will be available to the public up to 360 days a year for usage. It allows and enables regeneration outside the framework area, the regeneration framework area of St Anne's. And vitally, it will contribute towards the assessed housing need, for example, one-bedroom houses and affordable housing that has been assessed in Lytham St Anne's as a top priority. There are no additional revenue implications for Fylde Council, as Great Places will own and manage the scheme on completion. And the affordable housing will be available in perpetuity through a Section 106 planning obligation. It also meets corporate plan priorities. So I would like to move approval for this, and I have a seconder.
May I have a seconder, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to second the proposal and reserve the right to speak.
Thank you. Any speakers? Councillor Thank you. Right. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? Do you wish to exercise your right to speak, Councillor Aiken? Right. In that case, then, we will proceed to the vote. All those in favour? I think that is clearly carried. Right, the next item is agenda item number 10, and it's the accommodation project. I would like to invite Councillor Sackley to introduce this item.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, it gives me great pleasure to present this item in relation to the accommodation project. For years this council has struggled to find a long-term solution to its accommodation requirements. In 2010, the council agreed an overall strategy to retain, redevelop and refurbish the town hall to provide improved office and civic accommodation. Since then, a programme of works has been funded through the sale of surplus assets and through capital programme funding. The work that has been carried out to date is to a high standard, and it is exactly what a modern council in the 21st century requires to operate and function properly. I am pleased to report that the new town hall reception area should be completed and opened in the next few weeks, and subject to agreement on funding, the remaining building works being fully completed by early next summer. The report, recently considered by the Finance and Democracy Committee, approved continuation of the works into Phase 6 and part of Phase 7, subject to Council approving the release of a number of earmarked reserves. This report tonight seeks the approval of Council to the use of several earmarked and general fund reserves to undertake the works. Mr. Mayor, I would like to move the recommendations on page 28 of tonight's papers, and I have a seconder.
May I have the seconder, please?
Mr. Mayor, I have to second that proposal and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. Any speakers? Councillor Buckley, would you like to sum up? Okay. Right. Right, we'll now take a vote. All those in favour? That is clearly carried. Thank you very much indeed. The next item, do you know anyone who think there was something urgent on the television at 8 o'clock? Right, next item, item 11, is appointment of elected member to Blackpool Airport and the Hill House Enterprise Zone Project Board. I'd like to invite Councillor Small to introduce this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've absolutely no idea what you're talking about, but I will aim to talk quickly. I'm standing to move the recommendation that has previously been to the Finance and Democracy Committee that the chairman of the Finance and Democracy Committee be appointed to the Blackpool Airport and Hill House Enterprise Zone Project Board, and I do have a seconder. Thank you.
May I have a seconder, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I second the proposal.
I will go to vote unless you wish to sum up, Councillor Settle. Right, in that case then, all those in favour of that recommendation? Right, that is clearly carried. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Councillors, sorry. You are ladies and gentlemen anyway. Right, item number 12 is the committee membership nominations, and I invite Councillor Sackley to introduce this item.
Mr. Mayor, colleagues, I will attempt not to send the micro whizzing during this item. this item, colleagues, is a straightforward item regarding the movement of councillors between committees, which, as stated in the agenda papers, we are obliged to agree. No pressure there. Councillor Anthony will move to Environment, Health and Housing, and Councillor Threlfall will move to Operational Management. Councillor Hayhurst will take a seat on the Audit and Standards Committee. And that's it, Mr. Mayor. I have a second there from Councillor Buckley.
Councillor Buckley.
Happy to second that.
Any speakers on that item? In that case, then we will move to the vote. All those in favour? Okay, that's clearly carried. The next item is agenda item 13, and it's the contract procedure rules. And I'd like to invite Councillor Singleton to introduce this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. During a recent internal audit, it was recommended that changes to the Council's Constitution, Part 4B, the contract procedural rules, be formalised. These changes have been in place for some time, and tonight we are seeking to incorporate the said changes into the Constitution to improve clarity and effectiveness. The control procedures rules govern the procurement and administration for the provision of works, goods and services to the Council. And on page 38 of this evening's paper, our proposed changes are highlighted. There's 3 changes tonight, Mr. Mayor. 1, a guide to buying, 2, a framework agreement, and 3, budgetary provision. There is currently a guide to buying on the Council's intranet, which supplements the Council's procedural rules. However, this guidance was not directly referred to in the rules due to its location. So para 1.3 will include buyers should also refer to the guide to buying for the Council, which is available on the Council's intranet. 2 was a framework agreement. This is a model used by other local authorities and contains information on the supplier, thus saving this Council time in searching for basic information on a supplier. The existing contract procedure rules imply that using a framework agreement is acceptable. Therefore, using a framework agreement should be within the Council's rules and procedures. The relevant directors must satisfy themselves that the framework agreement has been let in compliance with all the relevant legislation and can lawfully be accessed by the Council. And the last change is at para 2.4, and that refers to budget provision. And due to the fact that the Finance Officer has made all budgetary provision widely available, it is proposed to clarify that it is the responsibility of the relevant directors and not the Chief Financial Officer to satisfy themselves that budgetary provision exists to cover any new contract. So the change at paragraph 2.4 will replace obtain written confirmation from the Chief Financial Officer that budgetary provision exists to cover any new contracts. And that's being replaced with before entering into a contract for the purchase of any goods or services or the execution of any work, the relevant director must determine that a realistic pre-estimate of the anticipated costs associated with the contract, including any maintenance costs, and satisfy themselves that budgetary provision exists to cover them. The remaining items on tonight's papers are all existing and have been agreed by the Council at previous meetings. I have a seconder for this, Mr. Mayor, and that's Councillor Donaldson. Thank you.
May I have a seconder, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am happy to second the proposal.
Are there any speakers? In that case, then we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favour? That is clearly carried. Thank you very much, councillors. The next agenda item is the licensed vehicle exceptional quality policy. And I'd like to invite Councillor Jakes to introduce this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This matter relates to a request from one of our existing licensed vehicle proprietors for the introduction of an exceptional quality policy for our licensed vehicles. Our current policy is that once a vehicle reaches the age of 12 years old, its licence will not be renewed and the proprietor must look for a replacement vehicle. Very few vehicles in the past have actually reached the age of 12 years before being replaced, but with the current high standard of vehicles we have, together with the increasing reliability and condition of modern vehicles, it is felt that such a policy is appropriate. As the report alludes to, there may be a reluctance from proprietors to purchase and license wheelchair accessible vehicles due to their initial cost and limited life at file, and this policy may encourage more of these vehicles onto the fleet. This will not affect the quality of the fleet. Vehicles over 12 years old will continue to be subject to annual inspection and must comply with the requirements laid out in pages 51 and 52 of the agendas. The vehicle must satisfy the policy on each renewal, and it should be noted that we expect the vehicle to be in exceptional condition, as close to its original condition as possible. When presented for inspection, vehicles with 3 or less faults will pass, 4 or more will result in a fail, and the vehicle will not be licensed. The proposal has the support of the Public Protection Committee, who resolve to recommend approval to Council with the addition of a requirement for the vehicle to undergo and pass an emissions test. This has now been incorporated within the policy. So the recommendation there is the Council considers the recommendation of the Public Protection Committee and adopts the licensed vehicle exceptional quality policy. I do have a seconder, Mr. Mayor.
I have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor. Are there any speakers? All those in favour of that item, please count. That's clearly carried. The next item is agenda item 15, and it's the Hampton Carrick Fares. And I'd like to invite Councillor Dick to introduce this item.
Thank you. This relates to the current fare structure. The amount a member of the public is charged for a journey and follows a request for an increase in the level of fares. The previous fare increase was applied in 2014, and after considering the request, the Public Protection Committee felt it inappropriate at the time due to the percentage increase requested of approximately 5%. The committee therefore refused the request. However, 2 other matters arose from the committee meeting. The first is that the Public Protection Committee do not currently have delegation to improve fare increases under the Constitution, and also that an amendment is required to the table of fares. When fuel petrol prices were at their highest some 8 years ago, the Public Protection Committee built into the table of fares a mechanism for quickly increasing the amount a driver could charge the public without having to resort back to the council. This was when the price of a litre of diesel reaches 125 pence. The driver may charge an extra 20 pence per hiring, and on reaching 150 pence, a further 20 pence could be added. Due to differences in fuel across the file, Shell Kilnhouse was chosen to provide a benchmark for the price. As I'm sure you're aware, the Kilnhouse site is no longer operational and has been demolished. As such, the table of fares requires updating, and it is recommended that the price at Shell hay houses be is now taken to be the benchmark. Therefore, we ask Council to firstly consider delegating responsibility for increases in Hackney carriage fares to the Public Protection Committee and to amend the current table of fares by replacing Shell Kiln House with Shell Hay Houses. I do have a seconder, Mr. Mayor.
May I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any speakers on this item? Councillor Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm certainly not going to detain people who want to get off for the special event that's taking place. I'd just like to say that I support this proposal, and I don't see any reason, and in particular the delegation to the Public Protection Committee for future consideration of this matter. I don't see any reason why these matters should have to come to full council and detain people in this way, and to bore people with the mundanity of Hackney fare increases. So I'm fully in support of the proposal. Thank you.
Are there any more speakers? Then we will proceed to vote. All those in favour of that recommendation? Thank you.
It's a bit like buses, isn't it? Never one when you want one, and three come along at once. Right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the meeting of the Public Protection Committee on the 27th of March 2015, the committee resolved to adopt a mobile home speed policy for residential protected sites under the Caravan Sites and Control of Development Act 1960, following a number of amendments. The need for a policy came about following the implementation of the Mobile Homes Act 2013, which empower local authorities to charge fees on a cost recovery basis for their licensing functions in respect of relevant protected sites, of which there are 21 in file. The policy is subject to constant review, and at its meeting on the 20th of July 2016, the committee were informed of a number of amendments which were necessary. The amendments are administrative, such as updating 2015 to 2016, changing specific words and including payment details, but does not affect the actual message of the policy. Therefore, Council are asked to consider approving the amendments to the policy and to also delegate any future policy amendments to the Public Protection Committee. I do have a seconder, Mr. Mayor.
May I have the seconder?
Happy to second, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any speakers on this item? Councillor Mulholland. You want to go straight to the vote, do you? Any speakers? Councillor Harvey.
No, once again, I just thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Don't you like football?
Well, no, I do. Once again, and I mean no disrespect to the Deputy Mayor in this, because I sit on the Public Protection Committee that has to deal with these mundane issues. So I would fully support the proposal to as exists in the paper. Thank you very much.
Any more speakers? Right, in that case then we will proceed to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendations? Thank you, that is clearly carried. Right, next item, and I think it's the last one, is agenda item 17, Revenues and Benefits Shared Service. And I'd like to invite Councillor Buckley to introduce this item.
Mr. Mayor, members are asked to endorse the recommendation of the Finance and Democracy Committee to extend the current contract that we have with Blackpool Council, who do our revenues and benefits under a shared service. A full report was received by the Finance and Democracy Committee, and our recommendation is rolling and continuing 5-year agreement with Blackpool Council. I have a seconder, thank you.
Second, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm standing to second.
Are there any speakers? Councillor Sal, are you speaking?
This time I am, Mr. Mayor.
Right.
Before anybody else does, wanted to say I think this is a sound recommendation discussed by the Finance Committee, and I fully support this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Buckley, do you wish to speak?
I have the right to sum up, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to thank Councillor Holland for his contribution and espouse the joys of the committee system.
Thank you. We will then proceed to vote. All those in favour? That's clear, carried. Thank you very much, councillors. Right. Excuse me, I do have. Oh, hang on. I'll come back and sign it. I'll come back to my things in a minute. It's alright, I'll come back to you. No, I've got my